Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to Hy-Vee Today. This is Tony Tone on the 8th of May, getting closer and closer to Mother's Day, which, of course, is this Sunday. That's May 12th. Hopefully, you've got something nice picked out for Mom. Something that I grabbed this morning, the benefit of working at Hy-Vee is that I don't have any excuse for not getting my mom or my wife, who is the mother of my children, something for Mother's Day. These are hydrangeas, and I know that because there's a thing in there that says they're hydrangeas. I do not really have a green thumb. However, my first job, remember, if you're playing Tony Tone trivia, my first job at 14 was selling Christmas trees, and then I was a landscaper. And don't you also forget that when I was 14, I was driving a truck and leading a landscaping crew, which was highly illegal. Driving a truck in the city of Chicago to massive homes where we would landscape. One of the houses that we landscaped was next to Louis Farrakhan's house. I mean, it's a compound. At some point, it's not a house if it's that big. I'm never going to live in a house that people might mistake for a compound, but I sure as heck landscaped. And by the way, not a good landscaper right here. Not good. But 14, driving a truck, all true stories. Ryan Broderson looking at me like I should be in jail he's disappointed in me that I was driving without a license. Ryan, I don't know what to tell you. I was rich. I made $10 an hour cash, no taxes. I don't know if I should admit that, but this is 21 years ago, right? So we're safe. We're good. Who's going to make a 14-year-old pay taxes? Come on, man. So that's a hydrangea. Hydrangea. Don't ask me to spell it. Look at these. They look nice. You know, I feel like maybe you could do this and then something else for mom. I mean, you think about it this way. Your mom literally brought you into the world. And I don't know if you've ever seen a kid be born. I've seen it happen 3 times, and it is truly a miracle. Holy moly. As a dad, you feel utterly useless. You're like, you had a person in your stomach for 9 months, and now they're here. And I'm just here for support. You know, like, why do we even have Father's Day? Not to say that dads don't do much, but, I mean, for God's sakes, they're like birthing people. And we're just like, hi. How's it going?
Point, it's not a house.
Need a world. There's Lucy.
I'm never going to live in a house that people might mistake
that
for
was
a compound
into the world.
Sure
is that making anybody uncomfortable saying the word birthed like that? I hope not. So don't forget mom. Why not just give mom a bag of money and then a nice hydrangea? Thanks, mom. Here's a hydrangea and then this banker's bag full of money. It's the least that you could do for mom, right? Do something nice for her. Don't forget about mom. Please. I mean, and again, like I always tell people, like if you have your mom still around, that's great. Take care of her. And then if you have a wife who is also a mom, you got to take care of her, right? I remember back in the day, there is my wife and my daughter. I remember back in the day getting my mom like Kathy Ireland workout tapes, and I don't think she liked it. But my mom was way too nice to ever admit that. So, and that could probably reflect poorly on my dad because I think he was the one that was like, yeah, just get that for her. There's a Kathy Ireland workout VHS tape. I don't know if she ever watched it. That'd be like getting your mom a Thigh Master. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. All right. I don't even think they make Thigh Masters anymore. I hope that they don't. All right, with all that being said, come and see us for Mother's Day. We'll get you taken care of. I'm going to get that hydrangea out of the way a little bit. Let's get to our first guest, who is patiently waiting, making his first appearance on the show, and I want to make sure I get the title right. Joe Lilly is here. He's the Director of Outpatient Behavioral Health for Unity Point Health, Robert Young Center. Joe, did I get any of that right?
Yeah, you got all that right.
Yes!
Yeah,
Thanks for coming here, man. I appreciate it. So I have a long-standing rapport with folks from Unity Point Health. You're sitting here waiting for the show to start. You're seeing pictures of my kids. They've all been born in Muscatine at Unity Point Health. Mm-hmm. I've often told people at Unity Point Health, put me on a billboard. Listen, I go there for everything. We don't want to go out of town for any of our services. And Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was about a year ago that we brought some of the Robert Young Center services to Muscatine. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Tony.
Okay.
Robert Young Center has been around for nearly 40 years.
Wow.
And we started out very humbly in the Illinois market in serving Rock Island and Mercer counties. Mm-hmm. We just opened up our new outpatient clinic in Muscatine off of 1616 Cedar Street.
Excellent. So for folks that are watching at home that have heard the name Robert Young Center, but they don't know exactly what services are offered there, can we walk through some of those? Because again, I mean, having the Robert Young Center services in Muscatine for a year is great, but my goal, Joe, is to always create and raise awareness so that folks know exactly all the things that are offered to them when it comes to the overall health of a person, right? And I know that that's a big thing with Unity Point Health is this coordinated care. I often use the analogy of putting up an umbrella and then everything that can fit under that, and you can really take care of the whole person. So talk about some of the services that are offered here in Muscatine.
Yeah, well, you nailed it right on the head there, Tony, that we are all about coordinated care. And one of the great things about Robert Young Center being a part of Trinity in Muscatine is that we are able to serve the needs of people, whether it be physical health conditions, mental health conditions. Some of the services that we provide at Robert Young Center include individual, family, and group therapy. We have licensed mental health counselors that provide that care. We also have psychiatric services through psychiatrists and nurse practitioners that can provide medication management services. Those are just a couple of the things that we do in our outpatient levels of care.
So how does it work with respects to if someone's realizing that maybe they need services provided by the Robert Young Center, do they start with that? If we go back to that coordinated care, would they start with their primary care provider that would then refer them for services or to visit with folks, whether it be, psychiatrist or therapist, whichever the path is? Is that how they would get there initially?
Well, that's a great question. There's a lot of different ways that individuals end up getting connected with mental health care. We do find that the majority of people that need mental health services end up seeing their primary care physicians and are able to initially identify problems there. A lot of the referral we do get is through primary care, and so that's often a good way to start. Some folks, though, don't have it as easy and end up going to emergency departments in levels of crisis, and they can also get connected to us through that mode, too.
Why do you think, Joe, and it's fitting that you're here because May, and we actually talked about this the other day, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. Why do we have this stigma when it comes to talking about mental health still? It seems ridiculous. I mean, the thing, and I said this yesterday on the show, it's so interesting as a society how we're okay with talking about certain things. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We talk about it. There's T-shirts, there's walks, there's races for the cure. We're fine with talking about breast cancer, but mental health is one of those things that even the thought of bringing it up, discussing it, makes people uncomfortable. So what can we do? And I'm sure that that's part of what you're looking into, is trying to break these stigmas and make it okay to have conversations, for someone to say, I am struggling, I'm going through something, and I'm on a path to get help.
Well, May is a great time for us to reflect and think about mental health and what it means to our community, and what it means to the people of Muscatine. Mental Health Awareness Month allows us the time to think about, what does it mean to deal with a mental health condition? How can we break that stigma? Because it still exists today, even though we've made a lot of advances.
Sure.
People haven't adopted it yet as a routine part of their health care. So it's an opportunity to help us think about mental health that way. And then, of course, talk about the services that people can receive to help them get better and get the care they need.
You have to have so many, and I know, again, we're not going to be able to get specific examples, and I don't want that, but as far as, Joe, in your experience with people that have, whether they've themselves identified some mental health struggles, challenges, issues, and then sought help, treatment from the Robert Young Center, and then the progress that they make, I mean, you probably are in a position where you get to share in a lot of success stories. So are you able to reference those when you're encountering someone that is maybe feeling shame? And that's something else that we don't want people that are not sure what's going on to feel shame about it. But you have to have such a wealth of stories and examples you can pull from to say, listen, I knew somebody that was going through something similar to this. They reached out and we surrounded them with care, and now they're in a better place.
Yeah, I mean, there's countless examples in my time with Robert Young, and in ways we've delivered care that have certainly helped people, and whether that be through some of the services that we've provided in primary care offices. One of the ways that we want to reach people and help break the stigma is be able to integrate our behavioral health professionals into primary care clinics. So that's a comfortable way for people that traditionally wouldn't seek care to work with their doctor and meet with one of our clinicians at those locations.
There's an article from the Muscatine Journal last year, right about the time when the Muscatine Robert Young Center came to town. And again, to have these services in Muscatine County is a big deal, because previously, folks would have had to travel out of town. And, the best thing that we can do for a community like Muscatine and the size of Muscatine County, when we talk about, the 40,000 people throughout the county, is to be able to keep them local for that care. So that, because that can be a real burden for people, Joe, is not knowing how they're going to get to see folks that are helping them, make adjustments or make strides to improve their quality of life. I mean, that shouldn't be a burden, right? So to have it, again, centrally located in Muscatine makes total sense. I love what you said about integrating some of the practices with the primary care providers, and that's something else, right? I don't even know if people understand how much continuous education goes on with these primary care providers, but then also, the specialists that are with Robert Young, right? I mean, you're constantly, yourself included, right? You're probably constantly having to learn as, things change, techniques, therapy styles. Maybe it's different prescription drugs that can help out. And you can't just take the job and go, I'm not going to have to learn anything else, right? I mean, there's a lot of that, I imagine.
Right. No, there's a lot of that. And, you talked about advancements in the way in which we deliver mental health care. It's important that, we work side by side with primary care, as we were talking about, helping people understand how to stay healthy, how to keep balance on their mental health, because it's just like physical health. It's a continuum, and you never quite get completely to the point where you're totally well. You have to work at it, and all those things and all the work we do helps contribute to that.
So my wife struggles with anxiety, and she's taken and uses different prescriptions to help with the anxiety. I don't struggle with it. So as much empathy as I have, which is a lot. I'm a very empathetic person, compassionate person. When it comes to understanding someone struggling with anxiety, I can't empathize with it because I've never gone through it. Now, have I had anxious moments, and can I feel when stress is, we can feel stress. We get that, right? Whether it releases, cortisol or whatever, you can feel that. But with that anxiety and folks that have dread, I can't process how they're feeling, but I can certainly support them wanting to either talk to somebody that can help them or seek treatment for it. Is that part of it, do you think? And again, I wish that I could kind of have a better sense for it because my wife deals with it, but for someone like myself, for the spouses or the family members, we just have to be understanding and willing to listen, even though we might not be able to fully understand what they're going through, right?
Absolutely. A good analogy or a good way to think about that is people that are dealing with cancer, people that are dealing with cardiovascular disease. Sure. You might not have experienced that yourself, but being a loved one for somebody dealing with those conditions, you might not know exactly what it's like, but taking the time to be there for them, to listen, even if you don't totally get it, that can make a world's difference in their recovery and helping them feel better about their condition.
I want to ask, and people probably think I'm a broken record, but we had a terrible winter. We had this polar vortex, and I know that the seasons can affect folks, and we deal with our moods shifting, and when it's 60 to 70, 80, 90 days of just cold, it doesn't help. Right. So I imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you see an uptick in people reaching out for help during those? I mean, I'm sure you're busy year round, but is are the winter blues a real thing that you deal with?
Yeah, absolutely. Seasonal. You may have heard about seasonal depression,
right? Okay.
And that can impact people, in the wintertime as well as even in the summer too. There's two different parts to that. We see a lot of people coming out for treatment as we're finally able to get through the winter and we're getting closer to that springtime. People are able to get out. And again, the weather does impact people. It keeps us from maybe being as physically active as we'd like to be. And we don't get as much sunlight too, and that all contributes to, could contribute to feelings of depression and issues there too.
When it comes to bringing on care providers and folks that are going to school for this, I mean, it seems like, Robert Young Center with 40 years to be able to stand on. I mean, that's got to make you feel really good, and the people that are making the decision to come to work for the Robert Young Center understand how much of an impact they're going to be able to have because you have such a storied history of being there for very different communities, whether it be in the Quad Cities, now a year with services in Muscatine. Are you still seeing that with folks coming out of school that are ready to help change people's lives?
Oh, absolutely. Good. We're really fortunate to be in the Muscatine and Quad Cities area. We have different institutions like University of Iowa, Western Illinois, St. Ambrose, Augustana College, many places that help produce those that are interested in going into mental health care. And we have to be innovative in ways that we approach and we try to recruit new people.
Sure.
One of the ways we've tried to do that is using telehealth.
Okay.
And that, if we have a very strong provider that maybe is comfortable living in Chicago area or a place where they want to be, but still want to help our community,
sure.
That's a way to connect them to our folks that need help and continue to get that care to them.
You got to feel good about what you've been able to do for your career. I mean, making a difference, but then also this journey that Unity Point Health has been on. I mean, in the last, I would say, 10 years or less, it's been quite a time to be associated with that organization and the amount of growth. And we've seen it locally here in Muscatine with bringing in the Robert Young Center, building that facility off Highway 61 with Northport, and having different, specialists and care providers in a community like this. I know that that's important because, again, as much as, when people maybe need to see a heart specialist, they can go to Unity Point Health in the Quad Cities. But you really, Joe, want people to feel confident in the care that's provided in their own community so that they don't have to constantly feel like they've got to make that travel. And I know that I said that already, but I just can't stress that enough. When you have all of these options for healthcare in your own backyard. It takes me from my house right now 4 minutes to get to the hospital, I mean, that's a wonderful thing, and that's
incredible.
It doesn't exist. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and it takes longer, right? There's traffic, there's people everywhere. So I just hope that folks appreciate organizations like Unity Point Health that are choosing to invest in communities like Muscatine.
Sure. Well, and that couldn't be possible, Tony, without the support of the Muscatine community. It's been incredible, the support and just the community awareness of how important mental health care is. We couldn't be doing what we're doing today without that support, without our partners at MCSA as well, helping us co-locate services. I mean, everyone has been so supportive, and it just is a true testament to how strong this community is.
Sabrina on Facebook says, thanks for discussing brain health. Yeah, Sabrina, I feel like we need to have these conversations more, and people that are dealing with things should never feel shame or guilt. They should be able to discuss it and then take a course of action, right? And for people that not everybody is going to have different strokes for different folks, right? You're going to have different course of treatment for everybody. But I also imagine, Joe, that in addition to whether it's talking to someone or looking at different prescription drugs that may be available, maybe sometimes it can be diet or level of activity. I mean, it's all these things. You come back to how mental health is similar to physical health, right? We got to take care of ourselves, and I imagine same thing goes with our brain and how we are able to process emotions, right? I mean, it's all about what's coming in and what's going out.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right that we see in studies that there's correlation between mental health conditions as well as physical health conditions. And, just as I talked about earlier about total wellness, you have to do the things that help you feel healthy, whether it be physical or mental health. Some of those things that can help are, if you're able to, per your doctor, get 30 minutes of exercise a day. Make sure that we're eating right, that we're sleeping enough. Make sure that we're staying away from substances and limiting alcohol intake. All those things that we do for physical health help contribute to mental health as well.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you came on this morning. I mean, again, I've been in Muscatine coming up on 7 years, and 6.5 of those years been talking and meeting folks from Unity Point Health. Like I said, I poster boy, right? I've had such great experience with everybody in town and the various services that I've taken advantage of, whether it is just the birth of my kids, but then also primary care providers. There's great people in this town that are doing good work every day, and we want that to continue. And if you're watching this and you want to learn more, you can start that conversation with your primary care provider. You can reach out and ask questions about the services that are offered with the Robert Young Center here in Muscatine, because the last thing that we want people to do that may need help is nothing, right? I mean, we want them to feel empowered to make a call or to have a conversation and not feel like they have to just internalize things like this. I couldn't even imagine. And again, I said that I've never personally experienced anxiety, so I can't really understand how that feels, but I can totally get wanting to say something and not, and holding it back. And we really need to change that. So to be able to do that, you got to have conversations. And whether, a conversation like this makes people feel uncomfortable or not, we've got to do more of it, right? We've got to be able to do it. Yeah.
Right. And this month, again, really creates a great venue to do that.
Sure.
And just to be able to talk about it, if you know a family member, a loved one that's dealing with these issues, there's ways that they can be receiving help, and there's things that can be done in your own community to help them get on the right track. So. Right.
And again, if you're just watching this and you're absorbing all the information, you can champion the cause and pass it along to someone that you may know that doesn't know that the resource is available, right? We need more people to just have these conversations and help spread the word. I'm glad you came on the show. I appreciate it. I know that you probably have a lot of challenges in your work, but I also understand that you get to see all these different success stories and these folks that you get to call your coworkers that are changing lives. And it's a big deal. So, Joe, thank you for your time. I really
Tony, thank you so
it.
much for having me on today.
We love our friends at Unity Point Health and the Robert Young Center, again, celebrating 1 year here in Muscatine. 1616, what was the address again?
Cedar Street.
1616 Cedar. Reach out, start that conversation, and please, have conversations like this outside of May. Again, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month, but we can have these conversations as far as I'm concerned, the other 11 months out of the year as well.
Absolutely.
It'll just benefit our community. All right, we're going to go to the CBI Bank and Trust aisle cam, and it's this is nice. It's in the health market, and of course, it's Wellness Wednesday. And last June I started the keto diet, and now all of a sudden they've got all these keto products that are available. And one of those is that meltdown drink that it's really good. And Chad would agree with me that the name is funny, the Grape Blade Lemonade, and it's got 7,500 milligrams of ketones. Oh, you know what? It tastes good, and if it helps, somebody feel better. I just saw it yesterday on Facebook. Somebody shared the link. A top cardiologist says people should not be doing the keto diet. Great. I lost 100 pounds, and I was super obese, and I feel great. So tell that cardiologist to mind his own business, as far as I'm concerned. Right? I didn't take a bunch of pills or wrap my body in anything. I changed my diet. And I lost weight. So I appreciate people's concerns, but I'm doing a lot better than I was. So stop sharing that article with me, please and thank you. It's always a picture of like a steak with like half a stick of butter on it. That's not what I'm eating. Like the assumption is if you're on like a keto diet, just butter. Butter and then steak. That's all I eat. Butter and steak. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a carnivore. La, la, la. It's not the case. I do love my Irish butter, though. But keep in mind, before I started the diet, I was eating crap. Like, whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, right? I weighed a lot, but I appreciate the concern. All right, let's go to Cody behind the wheels of steel with the Toyota Muscatine car cam, and then we're going to get to our next guest who's patiently waiting with props. Yes, I love it. Let's go to Cody. Toyota Muscatine car cam is on the loose here at your Muscatine Hy-Vee. Cody, your assignment today, should you choose to accept it, is an easy one. I want you to go to the floral shop because we're talking about Mother's Day. So, yeah, bust a left. This is good for Cody. Gets his steps in. Cody got that Fitbit rocking, I'm sure. So I talk about hydrangeas. We've got the garden center in the parking lot. Mother's Day is on Sunday. Go see the crew in the floral shop. I'm telling you, they can customize something. I mean, they can get you in and out in no time. There's Rita. I actually have Rita's box cutter in my pocket because she dropped it yesterday and I found it. Ryan, remind me to give Rita her box cutter back. It's literally in my pocket. I'm getting it out right now so I don't forget. So here goes Cody to the floral shop. And there's Jose and Skylar and Josie and folks working hard. There's Phil. So some great ideas, right, for all the amazing moms out there. And we've lost Cody, everybody. There he is. He's back. Oh, he's using the GoldenEye scope on this. Yes, that's my favorite thing ever when we get to use the GoldenEye scope. So you can see it right there. All the great ideas for mom. Things that'll look good in the house. You just got to give it a little bit of water, a little bit of H2O, and you're all set. Cody, we've lost him again. We've lost the code man. He's fallen into the abyss, ladies and gentlemen. We'll check back in with him in just a minute. Cody, find something that you think moms would like for Mother's Day and bring it back to us if you could. And again, maybe it's some beautiful hydrangeas. All right, she's patiently waiting. She's ready to roll. Hannah Howard back on the show, community coordinator with the Nature Conservancy of Iowa. And you've brought some props.
I have.
Hannah, good to see you.
Good to see you again, too, Tony.
I can't believe, you were here and there was so much going on, and then winter hits, and not to say that you don't have a lot going on, but all of a sudden spring's here.
Spring is here, and then before you know it, summer's here, and we've got a lot of events coming up. from events for landowners for learning how to better manage their land to events for youth and families. So
I love it.
There's a lot going on, and this is my favorite time of the year.
So I don't know if you'll appreciate this or not, but my coworker Steve, who's here somewhere, showed me literally this morning, 8 o'clock before the show started. Yesterday he was off and he found himself some morel mushrooms.
Yes.
So this is where I lose the audience. I've tried morel mushrooms. I don't love them. But I love the fact that people are getting out and about and looking for them as long as they're not trespassing. And I don't think Steve was. I think he said he found those at Wildcat Den, oddly enough. But so like these, and it's not just the morel mushrooms. I know that other different types of mushrooms will be popping up. But boy, oh boy, people go crazy for the morels.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I love about the morel season is that people are getting outside, they're being active, and they're getting out in the woods. And so whether you're out for a quick hike with the family, I mean, this time of the year, you can not only find those morel mushrooms, there's the pheasantback mushrooms, there's also chicken in the woods, but there's also lots of spring wildflowers. And so we're just kind of coming to the end of the spring wildflower season, but there's just tons to see out in the woods. And in addition to the plants, there's also a lot of birds coming back and frogs starting to sing.
Yes.
So this really is a great time to come out. And on our preserve, the Land of the Swamp White Oak Preserve, we also have our hawthorns blooming, our native prairie crabapple. It's a beautiful time to be out.
So we've got some great pictures. And then you brought, is that a real bird's nest or is this one
Yes, it is. And
okay.
One of the reasons why I brought that is because we have our TNC Bird Challenge coming up.
Right.
And that's on Saturday, May 18th from 8 to 11:30 a.m. on our Land of the Swamp White Oak Preserve right off of G28. We're calling all birders and nature enthusiasts. This is actually a first-time project for us. This is a citizen science project. So we're asking birders or just anyone that might be interested in learning about birding to bring their binoculars and come out and join us and help us gather some data on our preserve. And so throughout this event, folks can stay in a group and do the birding with us, or they can even go off on their own, because some birders like to do that because they like to find as many species as they can, and that's all good and dandy with us. We're just collecting as much data and as many species as we can at this one event and in one day.
So you use the word birders, and I never in my life had come across that. I mean, I understand bird watching, but I kept seeing in your email birders, and that is someone that likes to...
Well, it's a specific set of people.
No,
it's
it's
folks
great.
That say, own their own pair of binoculars that go out early in the morning and wake up before dawn to go out and see the birds when they're most active.
Sure.
And so actually, one of the peak seasons for birding around here, in addition to right now and in the next few weeks when all the spring migratory warblers and songbirds are coming back to the area, is actually during the winter and very, very early spring, especially around areas like Cones Marsh and other areas around our preserves, because of all of the migrating waterfowl that are coming through the area.
So at my house, we have a ton of cardinals. I don't even understand why. And then we had a hummingbird feeder, so we would get hummingbirds, and there's nothing more exciting for my kids and myself when you look out on the front porch and you would just see the hummingbird taking a little drink. I bet people would be surprised, maybe even shocked at the amount of different types of birds that they would encounter at the Land of the Swamp White Oak, right? And
so it's a little early, say, for hummingbirds out on our preserve. We especially see them in the late fall when they're coming to take advantage of our cardinal flower on the preserve. They like long tubed flowers, so they can stick their bill inside, and they have these long tongues to lap up the nectar. But this time of the year, we're going to see prothonotary warblers, and that's what's on our flyer for the event. Those are bright golden birds. They're nicknamed the golden bird of the swamp, which fits perfectly on our preserve, and I always love seeing them. But in addition to that, there's all kinds of woodpeckers, especially, say, red-headed woodpeckers. They're one of the most abundant woodpeckers on our preserve, and I actually brought this nice prop here.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay, so this is the fine work of a woodpecker. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, so I'm not just bringing a lot of junk and weird things, but this is actually something I like to use for education. So this is an old birch log. And so woodpeckers will actually nest in dead and decaying trees or dying trees.
I did not know that.
This is a nice little excavation where you can see where the woodpecker has raised their young, and it actually has another nest right on the other side, right there in this, where an old branch used to be. There's You can also see now that it's decaying even more that you can see further into the cavity that it used to raise its young. And so what's neat about woodpeckers is they're kind of a great species that other animals can use to their advantage, because after the woodpeckers move out of that cavity, then other things like secondary cavity nesters can move in, like bluebirds, owls, squirrels, possums, all kinds of things can take advantage of that nest. Wood ducks.
No idea. Now, I definitely have heard woodpeckers. We were last Saturday morning, took the kids to Fuller Park, we're walking a little bit on one of the trails, and just off in the distance, heard a woodpecker.
You can hear that drumming.
Getting after it. So that's a great sign, right? Like, after the winter that we had, again, like, it's nice to see some of our friends and hear them, right? Hear them come back.
Exactly. And actually, woodpeckers are one that's a year-long resident. You can see them year-round. And so there's still birding to be done. Even, I know when I'm out and about in the winter, I still see all of our red-headed woodpeckers. And like the photo you showed earlier, that's the red-bellied woodpecker. We still have a lot of those. And then there's even the really small downy woodpeckers that are very, very small, all the way up to our large pileated woodpeckers that are the size of a crow.
That's
Those
what
are
I was
big.
going to say. That would surprise people if they saw a woodpecker that you might even be a little scared.
Exactly. And when you hear that drumming, it's really, really
100%.
loud. So you won't miss it when you hear a cockaded woodpecker.
So the
pileated.
TNC Bird Challenge is May 18th.
Yes.
So if you're watching this, that is next Saturday. So you've got plenty of time to reach out to Hannah.
Exactly.
Save your seat and be there. Right, there it is right there on the screen.
And we're
Thank
asking
you.
folks that they RSVP so they can call our office or send me an email. And that's just kind of help with planning purposes. We ask that folks bring their own binoculars. Because we don't have a lot of binoculars waiting for folks to use, as they're expensive. So this is kind of better for adults or older youth. However, there is another event going on that just so happened to get rescheduled to the same day, unfortunately. But this is a great one for young children. It's the Spring Bird Festival that's at our Port Louisa Wildlife Refuge, which is our partners that work right along the Mississippi River. They put this event on every year, and it's a wonderful event for young children. They've got bird banding and lots of activities for youth. So if you're not exactly a really experienced birder, or maybe you don't have binoculars, this is another great opportunity to take advantage of one of the many events that our awesome partners put on. So head out to the refuge with young kids on, again, Saturday, May 18th at Port Louisa Wildlife Refuge. That starts from, I think, 7 to 11:30 or noon.
So you're going to have a very busy next couple of months. I mean, in addition to everything else that's going on, if we look into June, June 13th, which is a Thursday, is the Invasive Species Field Day hosted by the Great Rivers Alliance. Registration's at 8:30 a.m. Thank you for putting it on the screen. Goes from 9 to 2. Lunch is provided. What can folks expect, Hannah, if they participated in the Invasive Species Day on June 13th?
This is an amazing event. Because it's put on by our Great Rivers Alliance, there are so many different partners from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Department of Natural Resources, and Louisa County Conservation, and other groups that are getting together, and they're all going to be speaking and having different events that range from learning how to identify those invasive species that landowners might have on their property, to learning how to control them and remove them so that they can have a healthier woodland or a healthier ecosystem, whether it be prairie, woodland, wetland. We'll cover all of that, as well as there's a few sessions on a DNR wildlife biologist will have a session as well on floodplain wildlife habitat. There will also be a session on reed canary grass control, because especially landowners that live along rivers or wetlands, that's definitely a very heavy grass that can take over. And then we'll also have a few sessions just focused on getting landowners the resources they need, because there are some funding mechanisms in the NRCS office, as well as there's a partners program through Fish and Wildlife. So there's lots of things going on that day, and we're thankful to have funding through a grant to cover lunch.
It's awesome.
And so we really want people to come and learn. It's a great day, lots of resources all in one place, and so that's kind of a unique opportunity, and it's free. So just please RSVP. Again, my contact information will be at the end of this program, or you can even check us out on our Facebook page or nature.org/Iowa. But this is a great event for landowners.
I love the amount events and information that you're willing to give for landowners, because again, the assumption is for people that are going to say, buy that house that comes with land,
Right.
and I don't know how often this happens. Like if you're looking at the house, you fall in love with the house and it comes with a little bit of acreage. Do you really
Right.
know what's going on, what's living there? Because whether you know it or not, you could be inhabiting some...
Right, you might have some invasive species. They really
right.
are
You don't
fairly
know.
common.
I mean, especially if it's, if you're not, that out and about, familiar with nature. I mean, that's where Nature Conservancy
Yes.
can really be your best friend, so that you fully understand, like, I don't want to say what you're getting yourself into, but certainly buying land. I mean, what are you
Right.
going to do with it? And then what you need to know what's out there, right?
Yeah, I think that there's a misconception that as long as the forest or the land is there, if
Sure.
you leave it alone, it's going to be healthy. It's going to do its own thing. However, just in the world that we live in, there's a lot of different things going on, such as a lot of invasives that are coming in,
Yep.
either that people have planted in their garden areas, such as honeysuckle or barberry or burning bush.
Sure.
Those are all things that we brought into our landscapes intentionally, but yet turns out spread rapidly. But the problem with that is when you get that touches your skin,
Yeah.
that can produce boils because
Oh.
of the oils that are within that plant. And so when the oils get contact from the sun,
Oh, no.
it'll actually produce boils. So that one's especially problematic, invasive. And so that takes advantage
That's
of open,
terrifying.
disturbed
Right.
areas.
I was going to say, again, this is something like you might not know. You might just buy that house, you got an acre or two, you're cutting the grass, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, right. Please utilize this resource that we have. That same week that you've got the invasive species field day, that Saturday, the 15th, you have the Wonders of the Wetland, which happens
Yes.
at the land of the Swamp White Oak from 10 a.m. till noon. Fantastic event for families. Let's talk a little bit about this. That's going to be a busy week, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm really excited because I'm having my intern finally come on board.
Excellent.
She is a college student, and she
Cool.
is going to be wonderful help so that we can be able to put on a whole slew of activities all summer long
Sure.
while she's with us. And so that Saturday is going to be perfect for youth as well as families to come out. We're going to have a whole bunch of activities. So we'll have dip nets for kids to go and explore the wetlands hands-on, because that's really what nature exploration should be. It should be kids learning that it's okay to get a little
Yep.
bit dirty and to explore, and at our preserve, we invite folks to not stay on the trail. We just want them
Sure.
to enjoy the wilderness, because at this particular point, that's over 650 acres.
Oh my gosh.
That really
Wow.
is a great example of wilderness,
Yeah.
because there's no paved roads, amenities, paved trails, electricity. It is wilderness. And you can tell when you go out there because of all of the wildlife that you see. Every time I pull in, it seems like a great blue heron is waiting to welcome me in the wetland right next to the gate, or there's a painted turtle that's making its way across the trail to another wetland.
It's so exciting, right? I mean, it's just, they're not disturbed.
Exactly.
I mean, I know that you guys are out there out and about and bringing people, but at the same time, I mean, they are truly in their element, right? I mean, they're not used to seeing people all the time or vehicles, and there's something, I don't know, pure about that. And look at that kid's face. You can tell with the hat on. He's like, whoa,
And that's what
like
I love,
he's seeing
because this
something, right?
particular group
Yeah.
of kids, when I took them out on a field trip, some of them weren't exactly the most excited
bet,
to be
yeah.
out there. And you can tell they've kind of got some cool hats and sweatshirts on. But by the end of it, they were so excited to get right there near the edge of that creek and look for frogs. They were picking up frogs. And that's what we want. And so this whole day, Wonders of the Wetland, is for kids to get out, experience things hands-on, to use nets to catch tadpoles, learn about the little insects that live in the wetland, and also learn about the turtles and the frogs that live in those wetlands, the waterfowl like the mallards and wood ducks that take advantage of those. Learn about everything about the ecosystem, even these crawfish right here.
I was going to say, that's okay, now, I bet, because I didn't know that we've got crawfish just really?
We do, along the streams, along wetlands. There's even a
Holy
prairie
moly.
crawfish. There's a few different species, actually. And I know as a kid growing up, we used to go look for crawfish along Mad Creek.
I didn't know that. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I know? Because I'm a dummy, that's why. But that's why you're here. I had no idea that we've got crawfish just hanging out.
Yeah.
And, oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's going to be a learning experience
gonna
for
say,
everyone, the adults.
Yeah.
the kids.
Obviously,
So it's really going to be a lot of fun. So we really
Absolutely.
hope folks come out and join us. And we have a whole bunch of other events that are going on in July and August as well. So we hope that folks stay tuned and follow us on our Facebook page, The Nature Conservancy in Iowa, so they can see the upcoming events, or they can email me and I can put you on our emailing list so that you can receive flyers and a little bit more detailed information about events that are coming up from not only us but also our partners in the area.
I was going to say, let's keep that on the screen just for a second, guys. Hannah's information. You all do such a great job, and what an experience it'll be for your intern, right? I imagine that it wasn't too many years ago when maybe you found yourself in an intern role, and
Exactly.
you can totally appreciate and want that person to have such a great experience, right? Because I mean, what a great job that you have, and the things that you've been able to do and that you're working on and that you want to do. It seems like, Hannah, you don't get, the word no doesn't get thrown around that often, because everything is just for the betterment of folks like myself and my family and people that are going to watch this, that can get out and about, from hanging out and checking out birds to the invasive species field day and the wonders of the wetland. I mean, we're just scratching the surface. You just love what you do, I imagine.
Exactly.
Right?
I do, and I find myself very, very lucky to be able to do what I do, because every day is different, whether it's like this afternoon, even though we've got some rain and wet weather coming our way, we've got a group of college students coming all the way from Waverly to come visit us and check out our preserve, in addition to all of the other events that we do. So I really do invite folks to give me a call if they have a group, whether it's an adult group, a youth group, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. They can come out to our preserve and do some hands-on exploration, do a hike, or I can come to their group and do a presentation or an in-class activity. We really just want the community of Muscatine and surrounding areas to know that we are a resource, and they can get in touch with us and we can help out in any way that's possible. Of course, we're a small staff, but we, like you said, I don't like to say no, and I want to be there.
Great.
For folks in whatever way I can.
50 acres?
And that's just that one small portion of the preserve.
That.
So we own about 4,000 acres along the Cedar River.
Okay, now 4,000 acres is a lot. Have you traversed most of that? Half of that?
I can't say that I've traversed all of that.
Yeah.
We are getting close to having a 10-mile route that our stewardship staff use to manage a lot of our areas of preserves. And so someday, maybe next year, I would like to put on a hardcore hiking event where folks can come out and actually hike all 10 miles of that in one go.
It's a great idea.
But I'll do that first to check it out and make sure things are
take a
good.
compass or something. I don't know, your smartphone or whatever. But that's just so great, right? Like just being out in the element and just like that picture of those kids. I totally understand what you mean. The kids are like, all right, whatever. And then they're in it for a minute.
Their attitudes change once they start to see something they connect with, because some kids, it's funny, some kids might pick up on the flowers and other kids are totally about the birds, and they're kind of looking around, they're seeing the woodpeckers, and then other kids just want to get in the mud and grab the frog. So there's something for all kinds of youth, and even if you might not think that your kids would be interested, you just got to give them a chance to really figure out what they like and just explore. This was a fun group we had out at the preserve last summer where we really got muddy. We were just finished up with all of our spring flooding, but they wanted to come out anyway, and so we got in the mud. These kids had a blast. We found lots of huge fat tadpoles and dragonfly larvae, all kinds of stuff.
Dragonfly larvae, ugh, that's not for me, but the tadpoles and the frogs, I'm all in. The flooding, all right, that's something maybe I didn't even think about asking. So certainly, people see constantly in Mississippi River flooding in downtown Muscatine and the Quad Cities. Are you experiencing any unusual or higher levels of water along the Swamp White Oak
I mean,
Preserve,
certainly right now, the most devastating flooding is happening along the Mississippi River. But of course, just the new norm is changing, and we are getting a lot more frequent and a lot longer intensity of flooding. And so on the Cedar River, we've already had one huge spring flood, and then we had another one that's just going down from last week. So we've already had 2 spring floods. We had a winter flood, and so it's just kind of the new normal. And unfortunately, that has an effect on the area landowners that are still trying to make a living, or whether it be farming cattle or just live in the floodplain, but it also affects our native species. Because when you have that prolonged flooding in both the winter and the spring, that's going to affect how they breed. And also, if a tree's roots are underwater for that long, they will get suffocated of oxygen, and we've lost a few very beautiful old large oak trees that are over 100, 200 years old to these flooding events, and that's something we can't replace in our lifetimes.
Right.
And
that's
so
devastating.
There are a lot of effects of flooding, and you know,
it's too bad. At
the same time, it shows how resilient our landscapes are and our native places and wild places are, because even though we receive 4 foot or more of flooding on our property multiple times a year, these ecosystems are still hanging on. We still have wildlife breeding there, making a home there, and it's still a very, very special ecosystem that's not found very often. It's one of the last intact floodplain oak savannas in the area. And so
it's unbelievable. It would be great to get a drone and just go cruising above. Right.
I'll have to bring some of our drone footage the next time I come, because
that would be awesome.
We recently got a drone just to show our vast landscapes and really get a better picture of some of our preserves.
Fantastic.
And so I'd love to show it to you, because when you see that drone going up and all you see are just acres and acres of forest along the Cedar River, you think this can't be Iowa, but it is. We live in a very special place.
And you've said that, you know, and until you're there and you're experiencing it, and it's amazing how close it is.
Yes.
Right? I mean, all of a sudden, like you said, you feel like you have journeyed outside of the state for sure.
Exactly.
But it's in the, in our own backyard. So there's countless examples of different events to introduce you to the land of the Swamp White Oak Preserve. You can learn more online. Please go online. We've been showing you the website again, nature.org/Iowa. Facebook, the Nature Conservancy in Iowa. There's just so many great resources at your fingertips. And if you can make it to any of the events that we've touched on, from the TNC Bird Challenge coming up on May 18th to the Invasive Species Field Day on the 13th, or the Wonders of the Wetland on the 15th. If you can't make any of those, there's more fun to be had.
There will
between
be more events
July,
coming up.
August, and I imagine maybe the return of the Swamp Stomp.
We already have the date set.
Look at
Sunday,
that, right?
September 22nd,
oh my
Arden Creek
gosh,
Winery.
That'll be here soon.
It'll be here before you know it, definitely.
Yeah, it's just great. Well, it's good to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me, Tony.
Yeah, I had no idea. What I mean, I'm all for people bringing props on this show. Had no idea that's what a woodpecker would be calling its home. Makes total sense.
Well, next time I'll bring one that isn't so decayed, so I don't leave a mess.
Yeah,
on your
or
table.
just bring a woodpecker if you want.
Oh boy, that'll be a challenge, but I'll see what I can do.
Maybe a little cage to hold it in. I don't know. I don't want to listen. I don't want to put a woodpecker in a cage. That's not what I'm saying. Take it easy, folks. I'm just, we have fun with the props. Thank you so much. It's great to see
Tony.
you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Get in touch with Hannah. Get to those events and jump online. Ryan, let's go to the website if we could. Nature.org/Iowa, please. I mean, you're watching this online with us live, or if you're on cable. Just learn more about what is available, afforded to us in our area, and appreciate the work that goes on with the Nature Conservancy in Iowa. It's breathtaking, right? And once you're able to experience these places, you won't get enough of it. I mean, you'll just be bugging Hannah like, hey, when are you going to put something else? I mean, right? That's how it is. You get out and about once and you're hooked, and you'll be wanting to sign up for that 10-mile hike. I saw Ryan perk up. Ryan and Chad were both like, 10 miles? Yep. They're like, we're in. I saw it. I saw the look.
Well, you'll be the first to know once I get that lined
and
up.
I'll be on a four-wheeler, so hopefully that'll be an option, or a golf cart with big tires or something. Not that I don't think I could walk 10 miles. Maybe each way, 10 miles should be 20 miles?
No,
maybe 5 and 5?
10 miles is just a one-way.
Okay.
Because
and
it goes through the heart of most of our preserves, so it's kind of a zigzaggy way up the Cedar River along our preserves.
My Fitbit would just be like, you lying. It's not
You'd probably
you.
get 20,000 steps in or more, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think my Fitbit can handle that. Tanya on Facebook says nature is so calming. Right, 100%. And when we're surrounded by things that are not calming, and that's where you get those moments from those kids, because they're just inundated with tech and life, and then you get out in the open and it's just like, oh wow, okay.
There are so many health benefits that have been shown from folks that get out in nature regularly, from kids mental states being a lot better from them being able to have improved testing scores. So even adults, it certainly helps mental health and stress levels go down for adults. And so whenever I'm stressed, I take a moment, I get out, I garden or I go for a hike, and I always come back, life's in perspective, and I just feel a lot better. And plus it's physical exercise, so you're helping your physical and mental health when you get out in nature.
You got a little frog on this shoulder and a little woodpecker over here, right? Don't you picture Hannah like that, just out and about, like, and the animals are just coming to her like, hey, Hannah, it's like your Cinderella. They're like, hey, what's going on?
Someday
You're like,
I'll
nothing.
figure that out.
Just hanging out, a little woodpecker right here, a little frog over here.
I'm pretty proud when the kids at programs call me Nature Lady. I think I should get that to be my official title at work.
Nature Lady, make it happen.
Yeah,
right?
One time I was driving away from the program and all the kids were waving, bye, Nature Lady.
That's because they're bad with names. It's Hannah, kids. It's not a hard name to remember. Coming from someone that's terrible at remembering people's names. Goodbye, Nature Lady. That's so great. You've got to train one of these animals to just reside on your shoulder. It would be the best, right? It would be the best move ever. All right. Please go to the website and get all the info that you need online. Thank you. And I appreciate it. And say, next time Hannah's on the show, it's only settled. We're going to make this happen. We're going to start a petition. All right, Ryan, I don't even know. I didn't even go to the website to see what today is. So could you do me the favor of finding out? I mean, I know that it's May 8th. I know what day it is, right? I understand that. It says it on the screen right here. Look at that. I even went on the right side. Right there. See, it says right there. 5/8/19. I know that it's Wednesday, but I don't know what today's National Day is, and we're going to put that on the screen for you right now. Today, look at this, is National School Nurse Day. So shout out to everybody that is in school to become a nurse. Good for you. It takes a little bit of schooling to do that. I don't think I could, stick people with the needles. That would be where I'm not good at. Like the fact that our pharmacists give shots, the pharmacy thing, I get it, right? Getting people the scripts and the drugs they need, but then they're giving them the shots. And you watched me get the flu shot on this show, I didn't even feel it. So, but I'm not saying that I'm never going to be the person giving somebody a shot, unless it's in a small glass. Let's go back to the website and see what else is today. National Receptionist Day, National Have a Coke Day. So maybe you'll have a Coke or a Coke Zero if you're trying to cut the sugar. National Coconut Cream Pie Day. How about this? National Third Shift Workers Day. How many third shift workers do we have across Muscatine County? A lot of them. And we've got several here at your Muscatine Hy-Vee. I mean, there's people that are literally working third shift every night. And there's people that are working third shift making all those donuts every day in the bakery. National Bike to School Day. Might not have been the best day to ride the bike to school. We've got a little bit of rain in the forecast, maybe even some severe weather. And then National, again, Student Nurse Day, as it says right there. That is just great. Thank you for pulling that up. I forgot to put it on my list. All right, so I talk about Mother's Day. I mean, I've got hydrangeas right here. Cody, you brought something in the cart. This looks very nice. I'd love to show this to the fine people at home. And then if we could, let's go to the Voice of Muscatine newspaper ad in just a second. Look at this, Cody. Great choice. Nice. I like this. Little flowering plant. It says, "You are my sunshine." Cody, I appreciate that. I kind of thought I was your sunshine. Or maybe it's taking a shot at me because the color of my shirt I look like the sun. But this is very nice. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray, like they are today. This is nice. Could be yours if the price is right. But I mean, that's how easy it could be for Mother's Day, right? This is a nice gesture. Just again, don't forget the bag or the sock full of cash for Mom as well, because she pushed you into the world, right? What? Think about it, all right? Ryan, at the end of the show, all I want is a picture of a Kathy Ireland workout VHS tape. The fact that you didn't have it earlier, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. But now I want the Voice of Muscatine newspaper ad, because on this ad, you're going to see some things in the garden center, of course, where we don't have Kathy Ireland workout tapes, but we do have clematis plants and Hawaiian breeze patio pots and Rio planters and watering can baskets or cocoa fiber hanging basket. Cocoa fiber. Combo hanging baskets. Endless summer hydrangeas. Boy, I would have misspelled. Look at that hydrangeas. There's no way. I'm a pretty good speller. You look at my SAT scores, better at English and spelling than math. Oh, all day. Terrible at math. 2 plus 2 is still 7. But my spelling is good. Now, hydrangeas I would not have got right. Elite patio pot. And what about a picket fence combo basket? Picket fence combo basket. I like that. That's my favorite. Ryan knows that. Thank you, Ryan. Also on that ad in the bottom right-hand corner are the Thursday night meals for May, including this week. You don't want to cook 4 till 7. Look at that. That's perfect. We'll take care of you. We've got a grilled chicken breast, 7 ounce. That's a great size. Served with a baked potato and some steamed vegetables. 4 till 7. What if I make the potato like a bun for the chicken? Next week, it's a pork chop. Then it's a half rack of ribs. Get the full rack, right? And some baked beans. Beans, the magical fruit. You know the rest. And then on the 30th of May, we're doing 8-ounce New York strips or 12-ounce strips. Thursday dinner. We've got it. Every single Thursday, starting at 4, we'll cook. You show up and just say, "More, please. Can I have some more, sir?" What is that, Oliver? Is that from that Oliver thing? More, please. Is that from Oliver? I don't know either, guys. It's a stream of consciousness. That's what's happening. The espresso is coursing through my veins. And also on Thursday, Ryan, we've got Mega Meat Thursday. Mega Meat and Seafood. Mega Meat and Seafood in Delhi. The more you spend, the more you save. Do the math. I don't know if you've seen the price of gas lately, but guess what, boo-boo? It ain't going down. You can control it. We had our coworker, Carolyn, send me a picture last night. She spent 15 cents to get 16 gallons of gas. So for the people that don't think the fuel saver works, it does. I was excited when I had 54 cents off a gallon the other day, and I saved $9.50. That was a big deal for me. I look forward to seeing a lot of people save a ton of money this weekend, right? Speaking of the fuel saver, this Friday and Saturday is another one of those days when you can come in, and the more you spend, the more you save, right? So you can come in on Thursday and load up during Mega Meat and Seafood Thursdays, and then bounce back May 10th and 11th. Every $50 you spend, 25 cents off per gallon. This includes the entire store, guys. So maybe you just want to get a bunch of cake, or I don't know, bread, or whatever you need. Food coloring. Chesapeake crackers. I'm just looking around and seeing things and saying it. The more you spend, the more you save. There will be people. I told you this 3 weeks ago. I watched a customer put $6.31 on her fuel saver. So she would have to pay at least 1 penny for up to 20 gallons of gas, and then she would still have money left on the fuel saver. So people are way better than I am with the fuel saver, and you're going to be able to save a lot this weekend. Don't miss out on that. It's a good one, okay? Don't want you to sleep on it. All right, graduation will be here. Yesterday we had so much fun. Ryan, how good was that cake, huh? We had some Brozone cake. He had it for breakfast. We all did, right? How was my cake decorating skills? Not the best, but it was a lot of fun yesterday, and graduation season is here. Wedding season is here, but we stick to the graduation cakes. If you're having a party for somebody that's graduating in the class of 2019, use our bakery right back here. That's where they're going to be doing all kinds of magic. And whether you need a cake for 10 people, 12 people, or 100 people, you've got it right there on the screen. You can save. White, chocolate, marble, strawberry, lemon, or red velvet, regardless of whatever kind of cake you need, they're going to take great care of you. Whether it's Lainey or Jody or Jackie or Paige, the cake decorators, they're great. You know what? We talked about smash cakes on the show yesterday. I saw my friend Sarah Seiler picking up a smash cake for a photo shoot. I mean, it's just, they're busy. They're always doing something, and I appreciate all the work that they do. All right, Salvation Army dinner. I'll talk about this, and then we'll talk about the Salvation Army dinner, and then we'll do the job board before we get out of here. So Salvation Army, next Friday, May 17th at Geneva Golf and Country Club, their annual fundraising dinner. And this year it's going to help out the Kids Zone Day Camp, making sure that camp is able to happen this summer. You can get a ticket for $50 and go have a great time with food and entertainment provided by the one and only TV Mentalism. That's Thad Burkhamper. He'll be on the show next Thursday right here. A night of fun and illusions with Thad Burkhamper, TV Mentalism, in the house, Geneva Golf and Country Club. I know that I still have to buy my tickets. Fellow board members that keep calling me, I get it. I'll buy my tickets. I'm 35. Turns out you don't have to remind me. but I appreciate it. 263-8272. Silent auction items available. And we need to make sure that that event is a success so that the Kids Zone Day Camp can take place and our kids can have a place to go. We don't want that to not be well attended. Well, listen, I told you last week they had sold like 42 tickets. That's not enough. I know that the room can seat at least 200, so please consider buying a ticket if you could. 563-263-8272. Call the Salvation Army. All right, you got my job board? Or did you find a Kathy Ireland workout tape? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Kathy Ireland. How many? I'm not kidding you. There were at least 2 Mother's Day where my mom, God bless her, received some workout VHS tapes with Kathy Ireland on it. Don't get mom a workout tape. There you go, right? Look at that absolutely fit. Oh, that is so lame. Don't get that for mom for Mother's Day. Do not do it. Please. My wife just texts me what she wants. Like perfume. I had a different plan, but here's what I'll do. I'll just get her what she wants. And then some other stuff. Because I'm stubborn. I will not be getting her Kathy Ireland workout. First of all, I don't have a VHS player. So I can't do that anymore, but it won't be a DVD or Blu-ray either. All right, team staffing job board, or do you have one more ridiculous workout tape? All right. I like that Ryan didn't know who Kathy Ireland is. That's okay. I mean, she's not that well known anymore, but Chad totally got it. He was right there with me. Little workout tapes. And then we do this move, and then we do this move, and we're doing it. And then we're going to sweat to the oldies as well. All right, give me the job board so we can get out of here. I don't want to start sweating to the oldies. Not yet, at least. Team Staffing Solutions, 109 Lake Park Boulevard, across from Happy Joe's. Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this show brings you the job board. These are opportunities available immediately. I say that, and I mean it. If you or someone you know is looking for a job, all they can do is get you started on a path to success. They do it every single day. At this very moment, there's at least over, I would say 1,500 people that are going to work or are currently at work thanks to the work of the folks at Team Staffing. So whether you're reaching out to them online or over the phone or you stop by their office, I always encourage you to see them when it comes to needing a new job or a second job. And even if you just refer this to a friend, right? They want you to know that they can help. So Jenny, our friend, Jenny, we've got your number, 563-316-763-5 has first shift welders, $13 an hour. Get a hold of Jenny. Get the cool welding helmet. I'm telling you what, welders have the coolest helmets, masks, whatever you call it. That's a great job. I would burn myself, so I'm not a welder. But I have friends that weld. It's a great gig. And what else is on the job board? Ryan, Brooke McCullough looking for help with forklift, welding, and general labor. These are second shifts, so keep that in mind. If you're looking or you know someone that is, call Brooke McCullough, 563-316-7636. Remember, Brooke has been at Team Staffing for 10 years. She started when she was 12. And last but not least on the job board is Mary, quite contrary. We love Mary. Mary's also been there for a couple of years. Experienced. They've got experienced staff there. They get people hired. They change lives. Service tech, first shift, pay based off experience. If this is you or someone you know, 563-316-7634 or careers at Team SSI.com. Shout out to Tanya on Facebook saying, Hy-Vee has the best deals. You're too kind. We appreciate that. I want to say thank you to Joe Lilly for taking the time to join us. Joe is the Director of Outpatient Behavioral Health with Unity Point Health and the Robert Young Center. Thank you, Joe, for being on the show this morning, and we're excited that we're celebrating a year of having the Robert Young Center services in Muscatine. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we need to continue having conversations about mental health and erasing and removing the stigma that is associated with it. It should not exist, in my opinion. And thanks, of course, to Kathy Ireland, who wants you to know that you can have great buns in just 12 minutes. I believe it, Kathy. Because if there's one thing that I get sick of hearing is, Tony, you've got great buns. And by that they mean the buns in the bakery, right over yonder. Thanks to our friend Hannah Howard. Hannah is the community coordinator with the Nature Conservancy of Iowa. She is great. And there are so many different events coming up that are connected to the Nature Conservancy in Iowa. I encourage you to go to their website, which of course is nature.org/Iowa, or visit them on Facebook, The Nature Conservancy in Iowa. We like having Hannah on the show, and she's just great. Great guest. So fun Wednesday for sure. We'll do it tomorrow. And Friday, 2 more shows this week. Programming note, no show on Memorial Day, right? That's coming up. No show Memorial Day. And then there will be a week and a day in June where I'm going to be off because I'm moving. We won't have the show. So we'll have a week off, which is nice. I had 1 week of vacation last year, and I used it for knee surgery. I don't know if you remember that. This year, excited to not have knee surgery. Knock on wood. No knee surgery. That was the most not exciting way to use vacation last year, was for knee surgery. So I'm thankful to not have to do that, but just a couple programming notes. But in the meanwhile, we're going to be rocking and rolling and ready again for Mother's Day. Celebrate Mom at the Muscatine Hy-Vee. Thank you for watching. If you've been with us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple TV, or Roku, appreciate it. And don't forget, you can watch this show weeknights at 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. on Muscatine Power and Water, Channel 5. Thanks to our friends with the RE/MAX Professionals. How hot is the real estate market in Muscatine? Let me share this with you quickly. Our friend Lori Aguero, who former Muskie softball coach and